Oh, hi everyone. Again, it's Susie Crew from Esoteric Trading Solutions. I thought I'd go through Ripple, again, Ripple's technology, and just, try and outline it as simply as I can, and just an update on Ripple. Just on my YouTube channel, which is Esoteric Trading Solutions, which is what you look at, I was very surprised to find that some of the replies to Ripple and other coins, that they honestly believe that Ripple doesn't use blockchain, which I was just absolutely flabbergasted with. So I really wanted to put that notion to bed. They do use blockchains. They do have decentralized technology. And I'm just amazed that people don't understand the technology of Ripple at all. So I wanted to go through it fairly simply and then just look at all the clients that they've added as well, just for a quick update. Ripple basically uses a global payment transfer system, payment system, which is in direct competition with SWIFT, called RippleNet. And of that system, RippleNet, there are three channels to that system called XCurrent, XRapid, and XVIA. And the important thing is, obviously, when they put on new clients, they can use the Ripple system to transfer payments within seconds, still using fiat currency. That's number one, where they can save 30% on their costs because the cash flow of those payments is settled instantly, not like the SWIFT system where the cash flows of those payments can be anything from 3 to 10 working days. That's number one under XCurrent. Under XRapid, it is using the XCurrent technology for instant settlement, but also using Ripple's currency. So within XRapid, it's using XCurrent, the system of XCurrent, and using Ripple's currency. And XVIA is using Ripple's system, even though you don't have the whole network of Ripple set up, you can still make payments to other participants, other receivers, using XVIA as well. But we'll go through this, accordingly, and just to outline those differences. So XCurrent is Ripple's existing software, which basically you can send and receive cross-border payments instantly. Now, this is in direct competition with, as I said, SWIFT. SWIFT basically pretty much only, takes, it's an old system, 1973, and again, it takes 3 to 10 working days for cash flows to be settled. Now, Ripple uses decentralized blockchain technology to make instant settlement happen straight away. Within this XCurrent system, they have end-to-end tracking of those cash flows by directional messaging between the different banks or the different corporates. It doesn't have to be a bank, it can be a corporate or high net worth individual or a small company or whatever. They also have a rule book, which is a goal standardizing all the transactions across their network. And within that XCurrent system, they have compliance protocol, which is basically settlements, credit limits, authorizations, encryptions, almost like what smart contracts do for Ethereum, where funds are not released until the checks are completely automated and done within a 3-second process. And that's really important. So I was surprised to see someone on my YouTube thing say they don't use blockchain and they don't have smart contracts. But the reality is, within their system, they do have a protocol, a compliance protocol that doesn't release any cash flow until all the checks and balances are authorized and everything, the encryption's checked and the authorizations are all done and everything else, and the signatures and everything else. So, the system is very compliant and it runs within the bank's compliance and within Basel III and the bank's, credit limits and their VAR limits and their funding limits and all sorts of things, their settlements limits. So I want to make that really clear. And they use blockchain for that. So let's talk about XCurrent, the first payment channel within the Ripple network. As I said, XCurrent, can do domestic and cross-border transactions, cross-border from one country to another within 3 seconds. Anything from 1,000 to 1,500. They have another system that can do up to 70,000, and they use blockchain for that, and they validate each parties in the transaction before the transaction takes place, and that is done instantly. Now, the difference between Ripple, XCurrent, and Swift is that with Ripple, they don't need a correspondent bank, and they don't need someone sitting in between to actually make payment to the receiving bank. So let me put it this way. Ripple basically will transfer, say, a US dollar company bank needs to make a European payment. That European payment will be done directly to the European bank instantly. No correspondent bank needs to be available. Now let me explain this. If we talk about Swift, okay, so I'm a US bank, right? And my client needs to make payment to my friend in Germany. I have a friend in Germany that needs money. So I have to, as a US bank, my client wants to convert US dollars to euro so that my client can pay a friend in Germany, a German bank. I'm the US bank and I'm called the originator bank. And so my treasury dealing office, of the originator bank, will sell US dollars and buy euro to send to a European bank, which is called the beneficiary, the receiver of that money, where my client's friend sits. My client could be Anne, and she has to pay David in Germany, okay? And he has a European bank account in Germany, which is the beneficiary bank. The US bank, for example, doesn't have a relationship with the beneficiary bank. So, for example, the US bank could be a small regional bank. They don't have a relationship with the beneficiary bank. It could be ABC, German bank. So, in other words, they don't have a bank account with the beneficiary bank, or they don't have any relationship with the beneficiary bank, and so they have to use a correspondent bank. So we start with an originator bank, which is the US bank. We have the beneficiary bank where the euro has to go, but the US bank doesn't have a relationship with the beneficiary bank. And so the US bank needs to have a correspondent bank, someone that is the middle person, the middle bank, that acts as the domestic agent for the US bank. The US bank doesn't have a branch in Germany or Europe, okay, so they can't send the euro to their branch in Germany. So they have to have a correspondent bank where the euro is actually sent. And then that euro goes from the correspondent bank to the beneficiary bank. Hope that makes sense. So there's actually the originating bank, the US, they have to make a euro payment on behalf of Anne to David, who sits in Germany, the beneficiary bank who receives the euro for David. But the US bank doesn't have a relationship with a bank in Germany. So they need to use a correspondent bank that acts as their domestic agent abroad. Okay, so the correspondent bank, and this is with the old SWIFT system, the correspondent bank, as I said, is the bank that's the intermediary between the US bank and the beneficiary bank, and that's money, that euro, goes to the correspondent bank, and then that gets paid to the beneficiary bank because the correspondent bank has a relationship with the beneficiary bank. So what will happen is the US bank will send the euro to the correspondent bank, and that euro will sit in the US bank's Nostro account. Okay, so the Nostro account is the US bank's money, our money. Nostro means our money. So the US bank will have a Nostro account with the correspondent bank. Okay, and that Nostro account will then be used to send money to the beneficiary bank out of the correspondent bank. So that's pretty much how it happens. Now, so the euro will go out of the correspondent bank to the euro. The correspondent bank will have on the other side a Vostro account, which is your money, the US bank, your money, not theirs, and that will then get paid to the beneficiary bank. Now, this is the SWIFT system. Now, you can appreciate there's 1, 2, 3 banks involved, and that can take up to 10 business working days. With Ripple, Ripple sit as the intermediary, the correspondent bank. So this bank will deal with Ripple. Ripple then deals with the beneficiary bank, and it all happens in 3 seconds, rather than up to 10 business working days for the cash flows to settle. Now, getting back to XCurrent, that system, XCurrent, if they do cash flow immediate settlement, on their bottom line for a bank, they will save 30%, because any time it takes cash flows to take 10 working days to hit the beneficiary's account, there's a cost of money involved, a cost of people involved in monitoring those cash flows, a cost of compliance and regulatory people monitoring those cash flows until they settle 10 business days later. And that is very expensive for banks. So there's a middle office function that monitors those cash flows which haven't settled for 10 days. And there's also a funding function, because the money is being sitting with the correspondent bank for, say, 5 days, and then it doesn't get sent to the beneficiary bank until 7 days, say, for example. So and that's the old SWIFT system, and that's why if a bank uses Ripple's XCurrent, not talking about Ripple the currency, but just uses XCurrent for their foreign currency flows, whether it be fiat currency and the like, they will save on the bottom line 30%. Now, with Ripple technology, if they get away, scrub that out, if they get away with it, take out the SWIFT system, which I've just outlined with the correspondent bank, Ripple can instantly settle within seconds, because they sit in between as the correspondent bank, and they use blockchain to settle instantly, which SWIFT is not blockchain, it's from 1973. So Ripple will basically do a message to the 3, will act like, literally the intermediary bank. They all read it, and it all goes instantly, straight away, through their interledger protocol. And it makes it very, very quick. So, as I said to you, Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse says that there are enormous dormant cash sitting in these Nostro accounts, which is the bank's Nostro account sitting with the correspondent bank. Because as I said, the US bank will not have branches sitting in Germany or Croatia or, Russia or wherever. And so they have all this money sitting in Nostro accounts with other correspondent banks. Ripple, the technology basically stops them from having to have all this dormant cash sitting around in other banks. And that dormant cash is something like $24 trillion. So just using Ripple's technology, XCurrent, not talking about the currency, right, they will save themselves 30% off their bottom line, just in that again. Now, if we talk about the next system, and I won't go into that yet, if we talk about their next system, XRapid, which is number 2 channel of their system, XRapid is XCurrent, which is their technology, instant settlement, but it's also attached with using Ripple, the coin. Okay? Where basically Ripple, the coin, the bid offer spread on Ripple is minute. It's not even a 1/25th of a pip, of a basis point compared to foreign currency. If you buy and sell foreign currency through a bank, you go to a retail bank, you'll buy it at 78 cents, say the Aussie, and, you go to sell it back to the retail bank instantly, and they'll charge you, 75 cents. They'll charge you 300 basis points. If you buy US dollars against the yen, you'll buy it at 108, and if you want to sell it back to the retail bank, you'll only get 107 for it, 100 basis points. As I said, using Ripple currency, it's not even 1/25th of a basis point. It's 0.00004. So using XRapid and XCurrent together, you basically save yourself 60% in costs, which makes it very, very economical for the banks because it actually adds back to their bottom line, and very economically for small users and small banks. Really, really important. So this is the next channel, XRapid, when you're basically using Ripple currency as well. So that's very important. If we go to the third thing of Ripple, and then we'll talk about their clients, the third channel is XCurrent, is a platform for point of sale. This is Ripple's coin version of a Coinbase merchant. So basically anyone can use Ripple to make payment using, Ripple's currency to pay for goods and services. And it can be banks, it can be corporates, it can be anything. And people don't need to install any software to be able to use that. So that's really important. So if we get back to someone like, for example, MoneyGram or Western Union, who they've just put on recent times, or even the Saudi Arabia Monetary Authority, these guys are using XCurrent, the system that can instantly settle cash flows without the correspondent bank, but they're also using XRapid, the Ripple currency. Really important. So basically you use both those systems and you save 60%, because using Ripple will also provide liquidity and will also decrease your costs, your buy and sell spreads on foreign currency. Because you use Ripple, you're not using foreign currency. You buy and sell spread on foreign currency. So with XRapid and XCurrent, blockchain is used for it. They've got anti-money laundering protocol set up in their system. It's instant settlement and using Ripple, which is basically minimal cost. Now, MoneyGram, which is the second largest foreign currency transfer corporate in the world, they do 80 billion a year, is using XRapid, and they're using XCurrent. XCurrent first and XRapid. And what we'll do is we'll go and look at some other clients of Ripple's as well. So I hope that's really, really clear. Thanks, guys. Bear with me for a minute. So I've got a little diagram here just of Ripple, with using Ripple and without Ripple. So one using foreign currency and another one using Ripple. So they're obviously using XCurrent, the system of Ripple. One's using XCurrent, but the other one is using Ripple, the XCurrent as well as Ripple currency. So if you use Ripple currency, you're basically going from Japanese yen, and you want to buy Mexican MX peso, whatever it's called. So you're going from yen to Ripple. So you're selling yen, buying Ripple, selling Ripple, and buying the Mexican peso instantaneously. Okay, rather than having to use correspondent banks or anything like that, you're doing that, but you're also saving on costs because the costs are near zero. So you're selling yen, buying Ripple, selling Ripple, so there's nothing there, and you're buying Mexican dollars to pay the Mexican bank. If you weren't using Ripple but just using Ripple technology, XCurrent, the bank's going to save 33% because there's no time delay in the cash flows. But the thing is, using fiat, you have to go from yen to US dollars, out of US dollars into the Mexican peso. And the thing is here, this is where the cost is. From selling yen to US dollars and then buying US dollars to Mexican peso. And the fees are going to be very wide because you've got a very large bid offer spread. So 1 minute you're selling yen to buy US, then you're selling US to buy Mexican peso. And so those fees are going to be quite wide, but you're still using the XCurrent system to transact instantly, but you're paying for the bid offer spread on foreign currency. That's why you don't have the 60%, because you're paying for the bid offer spreads on foreign currency, buy and sell, which can be quite high. Okay, so that's pretty much the story. With Ripple, it's actually XRapid. Without Ripple, it's called XCurrent. So just want to make that clear. Another thing I wanted to go through with some of the really good news stuff with Ripples. 3 weeks ago, Ripple announced a partnership with IDT Corporation and Mercury FX to use their system and also their currency. They went live on Quinix and Cryptos. Credit Agricole testing the network and speed up payments. Rabobank looking into Ripple. Ripple expands in the Middle East after a Oasis listing. Major online shopping mall in South Korea to introduce crypto payments, including Ripple. MoneyGram CEO looking at Ripple, but also looking at XRapid. Santana launching Ripple international payments using Ripple as well. Wari Bank, which is a South Korean bank, also testing Ripple. Santander rolling out Ripple-powered mobile apps. National Bank of Abu Dhabi is using Ripple and the currency for cross-border. Ripple has just partnered up with Lian International China. They're the only cryptocurrency that can be used in China. So literally scrub NEO off the list. NEO can't actually go into China. No other cryptocurrency can go in there except except Ripple at the moment through Lian. Also, you've had a lot of information out there Ripple and the CEO talking about Ripple. Many different highlights by Brad Garlinghouse, Ripple. ZPay adds Ripple. Asia MTM Group now accepts Ripple payments. Al Rahaji Bank completes trial, adopts Ripple technology. Ripple signs a deal with UAE Exchange, which is massive. Western Union tests Ripple transaction and will be using Ripple currency. But also, there's, even now there was something else that came out, which I'll just go through. Bear with me. They also put on Oanda, FX Oanda, which is really well known in Australia. So they'll be looking at XCurrent, but also XRapid here in Australia. Now, I think they're fairly large in Europe as well. Also, Ripple put on the Saudi Arabian Monetary Authority, which are huge. These guys are absolutely huge. They're looking at Ripple software, and they'll also be using Ripple currency. So there is a lot going on, and that's a big one. The major bank, Saudi Arabia, they're worth a fortune. And basically, the Middle East, Saudi Arabia particularly, has got the highest capita, per head per capita. And Western Union confirms that they're going to be using XCurrent, but also Ripple's currency as well. And there's another 2 household names they're going to be coming out with as well. But there's just so much going on. There is some talk that that maybe PayPal that takes on Ripple technology going forward. There's more Ripple validators coming through. Someone's holding a lot of Ripple. If you look at Ripple Monitor, someone bought quite a lot of Ripple, that much, which is a lot. That's like millions, but they're actually holding a balance of 744 million, which is a huge amount. And you can look at that on XRapid Monitor. But also the cryptocurrency market recovery, Ripple been adopted in Canada. The list just goes on and on. wallet, Toast Wallet, you can buy Ripple. It just goes on and on. Ripple Partners, here we go. It's more Ripple Partners, heaps of them. I can't even go through them all. They're Ripple Partners. Gate Foundation to use Ripple's interledger technology. Again, you know, that's a big one in itself. What else we got? Ripple's companies that they're looking at, and if you can see that, you know, MoneyGram, Western Union, SBI, Asia MTM, Mercury, we know about, Flash, IDT, Sally, Big Ship or whatever. But look, it just goes on and on. To me, it's just such a compelling story. Anyway, guys, I hope this hope this helps, and I hope you understand what I was saying. Thanks for listening. Didn't want it to be